The principal downside to excellent weaponry in video game DLC is players having to shell out further pocket money for the privilege of wielding them. That said, developers have a habit of nestling their best and most powerful weapons behind paid content. Powerful weapons feel good to equip, which will hopefully soften the blow of extra payment, aiding the DLC to feel worthwhile alongside extra story beats, mission, and characters. The Harvester, Fallout 4, Far Harbor. This ultra-powerful melee weapon is found in Fallout 4 Far Harbor's Echo Lake lumber area. The Harvester is a variant of the Ripper, a vicious handheld chainsaw that'll scythe through flesh like a hot knife through butter. The Harvester itself is imbued with the staggering legendary effect too, so it'll render any foe within cutting distance relatively helpless, stunning them, leaving them unable to fight back. For such a dainty, rickety old item, it's immensely overpowered with capability to reduce even the toughest enemies to easy targets. BANUK POWERSHOT Bow, Horizon Zero Dawn The Frozen Wilds. Exclusive to Horizon Zero Dawn's The Frozen Wilds expansion is the BANUK POWERSHOT Bow, a sharpshoot bow native to the mountains tribespeople of the Sacred Lands far north. Aloy loves a bow and arrow, of course, and the BANUK POWERSHOT Bow is the most powerful in both the base game and expansion. It's capable of launching precision arrows, tear blast arrows, and harvest arrows, dealing hefty damage and ripping components off the Frozen Wilds' super powerful machines. The only negative is the lengthier drawback time, required to launch the bow's arrows with greater ferocity. On the plus side, the BANUK POWERSHOT Bow is the most effective weapon to deal immense damage from far distances. Service Weapons in Surge Form, Control, AWE. The shape-shifting service weapon is the ultimate object of power, serving as Director Jesse Faden's primary weapon throughout her tribulations deep inside the oldest house. Assuming various forms resembling conventional firearms throughout Control, it's during the game's second expansion that Jesse happens upon something wildly unique and powerful, the service weapon's Surge Form. Essentially, a sticky grenade launcher, the Surge Form allows Jesse to plant up to 3 sticky grenades before blasting them at will. It's the ideal weapon to destroy the hiss from distance, sticking grenades to Wandering Corrupted before hitting the destruct button. Surge Mode also proves the perfect tool to exterminate trickier opponents such as the periodically invisible distorted tourists. Just shoot the grenade into their general proximity and the blast radius will do the rest. CONVERGE-CUPHEAD, the delicious last course. For players that are game for another round of hair-pullingly frustrating boss battle and chaos, there's the recently released Cuphead The Delicious Last Course. Thankfully, there are new weapons and charms which Cuphead and Mugman can wield against the expansion's tricky new bosses as well. One such weapon is Converge, a 3-way lightning bolt shooter that'll charge through enemies. Its wide-ish spread is especially useful against the bosses that are heavily guarded or surrounded by rafts of annoying minions. Converge makes the over-numerous of Fleischer-esque opponents a little easier to manage, for spraying electric bolts into the swarm makes for effective crowd control, creating space and the briefest of moments with which to plan for another attack. Fully upgraded Master Sword, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Despite being playable in Breath of the Wild's base game, Zelda players will have to play through the Trial of the Sword challenges inside the Master Trials DLC in order to unlock its full potential. The thing is, getting through the Trial of the Sword unscathed is easier said than done, for its gauntlet of levels bursting with enemies represents the toughest challenge in the game, especially seeing as Link is stripped of all of his weaponry at the start of each level, having instead to rely on salvaged items and weapons to survive. See the trial through to the end and Master Sword will henceforth be ridiculously powerful, retaining full power boosted to 60, with durability permanently raised to 190. SPLITSTAFF, Nioh 2, the Tengu'S Disciple. The dual-purpose SPLITSTAFF collectible during the first mission of Nioh 2's DLC expansion, the Tengu'S Disciple, is initially a fantastic tool to bludgeon opponents from a distance. However, the split aspect of the DLC weapon is a relatively unique ability that extends the staff's reach via small whips that can shoot out of the staff's ends. Perhaps the lengthier warm-up animations render the SPLITSTAFF not as useful when surrounded. However, its potential for extra reach and damage comes into the foray when taking on larger, slower-moving enemies one-on-one. Any extra help to get through Nioh 2's immense Souls-like difficulty is always appreciated, and the SPLITSTAFF's vast upgrade tree means it can be adapted to fit within any playstyle. Light Show, Borderlands 3, Bounty of Blood. The legendary pistol from Borderlands 3's Bounty of Blood DLC was hard to pick out from a raft of incredible Borderlands 3 DLC weapons. What takes the cake for Light Show, though, is that it's not only one of the best guns in the Bounty of Blood DLC, but one of the best guns in the entire Borderlands series. It's super powerful, dealing extremely high damage for any suckers unlucky enough to get caught in its crosshairs. Its 4-pronged projectile capability decreases the necessity for accuracy, and its supreme ammo efficiency only uses 1 bullet per shot. The downside is its wide shot spread makes it less effective at distance, but, any Vault Hunter wielding Light Show won't care, as it'll easily make mincemeat of anyone on the battlefield. Tactical Weapons Bundle, The Last of Us Factions. The Last of Us's well-received online multiplayer factions came with an element of pay-to-win tactics. The Tactical Weapons Bundle, yours for an inexorbitant $2.99, equipped players with 4 incredible firearms, the Tactical Shotgun, Burst Pistol, Frontier Rifle, and Crossbow. So powerful are these weapons, in fact, that it'd be futile to defend your clan of survivors with anything else. Of course, the existence of super powerful weaponry somewhat betrays the struggle to survive as portrayed in the single-player campaign. But with the crossbow in particular affording players a superb option to stealthily wipe out enemies, then who even cares? The only hope is that these 4 weapons make it to the base game of the impending remake. Bloodletter, Bloodborne, The Old Hunters. This trick weapon, first wielded by Bradder, but snatched from his cold, dead hands, is a powerful one-handed mace, which feeds off the blood of its wielder to transform into a terrifying second form. Plunge the Bloodletter into your stomach, seppuku style, and it becomes a 2-handed behemoth, a bloody barbed morning star in exchange for HP. The Bloodletter allows hunters to perform vicious slam attacks, with a special attack dealing devastating area of effect damage via a blood explosion. With boosted frenzy resistance, hunters can utilize the bloody special attack without triggering too much frenzy damage on themselves as well. Foxblade, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Included in the Grey Fox DLC, the Foxblade is a laughably overpowered weapon, oftentimes dubbed a blade for cheaters by its detractors. It's essentially the same blade as Raiden's HF blade, but with the ability to pierce armor akin to prodding a pin into a balloon. Against unarmored foes, well, forget about it. They may as well pack their bags and go home, as there's literally no point in them taking on Raiden when he's equipped with such deadliness. So extremely savage is the Foxblade, it's nigh on impossible to rack up a decent combo score, so it's best to dish it out sporadically. Did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.